Hello everyone, thought I'd just do you a quick video before the new year. Oh wait, hang on, it's better. Oh, sod it. Yes, I'm fat. Right. Oh, that's good. We had to complain about our bins not being emptied, you know, problems. Our bin should have been emptied on Thursday, it's now Saturday, and they didn't because, yeah, it's going now, good. Because they couldn't get the van round. I live in a cul-de-sac and there's a bit of a sharp bend, and because a lot of people were on holiday, there was more cars and things parked on the road. So they couldn't get, but it's not like they had to walk far, these bin men. And the bins are on wheels. They didn't, especially to my bin, they had to walk about, I don't know, 15 feet, if that, to empty my bin. But no, because they couldn't get the big van lorry down. Oh no. So anyway, we had to contact the council. And I think that's them emptying it now because, you know, it's another 2 weeks until they empty it again, and it was full of Christmas wrapping and all sorts. So anyway, I thought I'd do you, this is going to be my last video of 2018, is it? Are we on 2018? Oh, come here. I've just got home from work. Mwah. Fed these dogs their T word. I can't say the T word again because they'll expect another one. I'm all alone and bereft, because my partner has gone off walking somewhere in the back of beyond, I think it's Macclesfield, with a group of pufters. I'm allowed to say that because I am one. Oh, I've just hit the spot there. Oh. Anyway, I thought I'd just do a chatty video. They're very easy for me to make. Sometimes I feel guilty for making videos like this because it's just me having a chat, and they take very little effort to do and very little editing. And somehow I feel like I'm cheating my audience by just having a chat with you, because often I edit on, especially on my main channel, I edit my videos to the nth degree and put background music and all sorts, and sometimes it takes me as long to edit as it does to record. But this video, it's just me having a chat. But then I thought, well, no, don't stop yourself from doing a chatty video like this, because there are some people, even if this is just one person that sits down and enjoys listening to my rambles, it's worth doing. I mean, in the old days, I used to make videos for my pen pal Sue and her sister Mandy, so I would normally at least know I had an audience of 2. Well, I'm sure more than 2 people will watch me, and it doesn't really matter how many people watch, as long as some people watch and enjoy it. You know, some people won't. If you don't enjoy me having a ramble and chatting about things, then you just click the off button or whatever you click on your thing and go and watch something else. But I thought I'd have a chat because it's going to probably won't be speaking to you for the rest of the year. It's New Year's Eve. When is it? Monday. So we're on Saturday. So we've had Christmas. I hope your Christmas went fine. Mine was the usual anticlimax. I mean, I'm not saying anything against going to my mum's, but it's always the same, and it's our fault, really. I mean, we try and shake things up. I think my mum may be going away next Christmas to a holiday cottage with my brother. I don't know if we're going to go as well. So possibly next year I might be having Christmas at home. But because I had to film, and this is a little secret, don't tell anyone who watches my main channel, but I had to film my Christmas Day videos on Christmas Eve, because I knew I wouldn't be home. But actually I was here Christmas Day for the first time. We did actually go to my mum's on Christmas Day morning, but we actually woke up on Christmas Day. Normally we go to my mum's Christmas Eve, or sometimes earlier than that. But I had so much to do. Especially the big unboxing, I don't know if you saw it, the big unboxing video, just setting that up and doing Santa's footprints and all that. Oh, don't tell the kids I actually made those footprints, it wasn't Santa. Oh dear, don't watch if you're young children. Santa Claus was too busy to make the footprints. Anyway, so I had that to do, and by the time it was finished, it was getting on, and Mark didn't really want to go out in the car, you know, in the evening. So we had Christmas Eve here, which was quiet and nice. But you know, we went over to my mum's. My mum and eldest brother, who were there, decided they're not doing Christmas presents, but you know, I got presents that I asked for from my mum. I gave my eldest brother a little gift, just a token thing. He didn't get me anything, but that, you know, that's fine because I wasn't expecting anything. It wasn't about that. And of course I gave my partner his usual gifts, which he knew what he was getting, because I always get him, and he guessed nearly everything before. So I said, oh, I'm not wrapping them up then. So he guessed I got him a bottle of whiskey. He guessed I got him some handkerchiefs. He guessed I got him some socks. He guessed I got him some toiletries. I think that was everything. Yeah, and I said to him, well, yes, but you don't know what whiskey I've got you. You don't know the colour of the handkerchiefs or the socks, you know. So I did get him the normal thing. And from him we're going to see Chris de Burgh, not until October. So Chris de Burgh, famous for his Lady in Red. I like Chris de Burgh. I think he's probably my third favourite artiste. ABBA is first and always will be. Then Barbara Dixon, then Chris de Burgh, and then lots and lots of others. But they're the top three, definitely. So we're going to see. I think Chris de Burgh's knocking on as well. And I think his voice he can't reach the high notes as he used to. But anyway, we're going to see him in York, but not until October. But that'll be nice. But so I gave my partner his usual things, and then I just handed him something I bought him. I didn't even wrap it. I just handed it to him in its packaging and said, "Here, well, you might as well just have that." I didn't bother wrapping it. You'd guess what it is. Anyway, I bought him a new MacBook, so I certainly wasn't expecting that. I also, oh good, they're going. My bin. I'll have to go and collect that. They've come and done it, so that's good. Didn't think they'd come at the weekend, to be honest, but anyway, that's good. Result, you have to complain to these people if they don't do their jobs. Anyway, so I gave him a MacBook because we were in John Lewis and he was looking. He's got a really old one. He didn't really need it, but I thought, oh, you know, I got him that. So he was quite taken aback. I also got his sister, well, his family, sister and brother-in-law, his sister and his brother-in-law. I had a picture made, a canvas print of their dog Lolly, who's quite old now, bless her. She's had a stroke this year, and she's knocking on for a golden retriever. Anyway, I was on my computer on a separate hard drive, and I found some nice pictures I took of Lolly when she was stopping with us in our back garden. They were quite early. It was Lolly in her prime. So I had one made into a canvas, and apparently my partner's sister cried when she saw it. So that went down. I assume that was a good result. That went down well, I think. So, and I got some vegan chocolates and things from them. And my partner's niece and nephew, I always get them something. It's been vouchers past few years, and my nephew gave me a voucher back, the same, I don't know if it was the same one, but the same value I gave him, which defeats the object, doesn't it? My partner and my eldest brother always exchanged Amazon vouchers, and it was like the same value, and it's like gets to a point when what's the point, you know? So I think that's one reason why my brother and mum decided not to really do much present giving this year. We all have too much stuff, and I do miss. I think it is true. Christmas is best if you've got young children. And even I, at the time, probably resented it. Thinking back, the Christmases when we lived in York and I was living at home and we had lots of relations coming up. It was normally my second eldest brother, he's not married to my ex-sister-in-law. She's still in touch with the family and my mum and everything. But anyway, when they came up, they brought my brother's daughter, Bryony, who might be watching this. I don't know how old Bryony is now, but she's certainly not a little girl. She's a grown woman. And Bryony's sisters, half-sisters. And the house was full, and often it meant I had to vacate my bedroom sometimes and sleep on a put-you-up bed in the living room. And it was at the time I was working at Littlewoods, and I used to work Christmas Eve most of the time, and I would be there until after 7 at night, because after the shop shut, even though it shut early, I was there doing the window displays, putting sale displays up, putting all the point of sale stuff up, you know, and also pricing my sale stock on the menswear department. I also did. So it was always, oh, you know, I was absolutely knackered by the time I got home Christmas Eve. But it was lovely coming home. Even though the house was full, it was full of life. It was always warm. My mum had always, when I used to eat fish, it was always you know, I've had a lot of sort of changes in my diet, mainly vegetarian my adult life, but then I was a vegetarian that ate fish, so that's not vegetarian, there's another name for it. So I did still eat fish, and of course the dairy. Now of course I'm vegan. But my mum always used to do, on Christmas Eve, a fish pie that she made herself, which was lovely. I didn't like the prawns, so I picked those out. So that was sort of a traditional thing we'd have, and the telly seemed better back then, and you know, it was lovely. And then of course on Christmas morning with young children in the house, you had the fun of watching them opening their presents and getting excited. And of course the dogs we had at the time, my eldest brother used to get them into a right frenzy with wrapping up all their presents, and he used to put choc drops amongst the wrapping. So they used to, I've got video of it somewhere, I must put it on this channel, but I've got video of the dogs ripping open boxes and ripping their presents and getting into scraps and having a lovely time. And I do miss that. It was, you know, it's all very quiet now and subdued. So this Christmas we got to my mum's, did the gift exchanging and all that, and it was just sort of, you know, I would say nothing against my mum, because, you know, she did me a complete vegan Christmas dinner. She had to adapt the pine nut roast she does. She just left out the egg and did. It tasted just the same. It was a little bit flatter than the other one. It didn't hold together as much because it had no egg in it to bind it. But it was still lovely, and she did the sauce with it, but used soya milk, I think, or some other type of milk. So you know, that was lovely. But then after dinner, it just slumped down and just don't really do anything. But on the day after, we did go to the coast with the dogs, Fraserthorpe, and there is a video on my channel of us going there. So we went there again. My eldest brother didn't go because he was out. He goes for a long walk every morning, and he was still out walking for miles. So myself, my partner, and my mum, Mollie and Daisy, and her four dogs, including little Mollie, the one that can't really walk very well. We all went and had a walk, thinking it'd be quiet there, thinking, oh, it's Boxing Day, people will be going out to the sales and spending money they haven't got. But no, I think everyone thought that because it was the busiest we've ever seen it. We got there fairly early, but when we were coming out, I mean, it was absolutely, the car park, it was packed. But it was a nice enough walk, apart from I got peed down because I was holding little Mollie. My little Mollie is incontinent, and she has to be, I mentioned it before, she has to have her thingy tickled in order for her to wee, but she didn't need it tickling. I was holding her. And didn't really know she'd done it, and she'd done it all down my coat, all down my jeans. So I had to spend all that time with Mollie's wee all down me. So when I got home, or back to my mum's, I had to take off my jeans and put my pyjama shorts on and sit while the jeans were being washed and wait for them to be tumble dried. She also did it a bit down my coat, my outdoor coat, but I didn't bother washing that. You know, I thought, oh, it's only a little bit. But Daisy, every time I take my coat off, when I come home from work, Daisy has been sniffing it. So I thought, well, I better wash it. It only had a little bit on. So it's in the washer now, getting washed. So it won't smell of little Mollie's wee. So it was a very quiet Christmas. We left on Boxing Day. Same crap on the television. You know, gone are the days where I still bought the Radio Times because it's traditional, but gone are the days where I'd be with my highlighter pen, highlighting so many things and using, back in the day, I had 2 or 3 video recorders, and I would have, you know, if the programs clashed, I'd be videoing different things and blah, blah. Nowadays, I'm not bothered if I miss something because you can watch it on one of the catch-up services, and to be quite frank, pretty poor show what was on TV. I mean, Mrs. Brown's Boys, I'm sure a lot of you like it, and I was a fan, but it's gone beyond being funny now. I barely raised a titter because you've seen it all before, and there's one on New Year's Day as well. But really, when it first started, it was quite new and funny, and I was telling people, because it sort of was, when it was first series was on, it was on quite late at night, and I thought, oh, what's this? I didn't know anything about it, and started telling people, oh, it's really good, and it was when it was new and different. But oh dear, I still will watch it, and I'll still watch it on DVD. I've got all the DVDs, but really it's been flogged to death, I'm afraid. Like a lot of things get flogged to death. Sometimes, hello Daisy, sometimes you're left wanting more when a series ends too soon, and you think, oh, they could have made another series. And then sometimes, especially American series tend to do this, they just drag it on and on to too long, and it becomes, oh, I'm glad that's over. But yeah, there are some that I would think, oh, they could have squeezed another series out of it. But I suppose that makes them good. There was only 2 series of Fawlty Towers, can you believe it? But if they'd done the American thing and dragged it on for 8, 9, 10 series, it'd be like, it dilutes it, So, yes, Daisy May, you are a pretty dog, aren't you? Eh? You're pretty. She's pretty, isn't she? She's a star, little Molly. Molly never gets the limelight, but she does get the love and attention. But Daisy May demands it more than Molly. Molly takes it, don't you? You take it when you get it, but you don't demand it, Molly. You don't demand the attention of this madam. So, yeah, so it was all a bit quiet. I went back to work for the first time. It's quite good for retail because I had 5 days off in a row because it's just the way Christmas and my days off fell. So I went back for the first time after Christmas yesterday. I was at work today, Saturday. I don't work Sundays, but I'm working New Year's Eve, but I don't expect it to be busy. We finished early today, actually. There wasn't so many orders, and I don't think there'll be so many New Year's Eve. And I think they cut some of the orders so the drivers aren't delivering too late New Year's Eve. So it's probably be an early finish on Monday. And then when I finish work on New Year's Eve, Monday, I'm not back until the following Saturday. Because when my days off have fallen, and I've got an extra day off Friday for Christmas. So, yeah, pretty pleased with that. But this is sort of the no man's land bit, isn't it? Between Christmas and New Year, it's sort of like, it's the land where time forgot. Especially if you're not working, because you're often thinking, what day is it? What day is it? You don't know what day it is, do you, when it's over Christmas? So yes, it is Saturday today. But I'm at the stage now. I'm always like this. I always prefer the build up to Christmas. That's always my best part for me. And I normally have a bit of a Christmas, the actual event. And then between Christmas and New Year, it's like, oh, let's get back to normal. I want to get everything back to normal. And I think about new beginnings and change and starting afresh. Same every year. But I'm certainly going to make an impact on my house, our house, this next year. That's what it's going to be about for me. Just sorting it. I'm just fed up with it. It's not, this living room is pretty good. The downstairs is fine. It's not that bad, It's just too many vacuum cleaners. If I didn't have the vacuums, there would be no problem, to be honest. I don't have an excessive amount of anything else, really. I don't have loads of clothes. I do have loads and loads of socks. As you saw, I've got 24 pairs of socks extra, as well as I must have at least 60, 70 pairs. But I buy socks just for... I don't wear the nice socks normally around the house because I don't like to wear them out. I just wear them for videoing. These are bamboo socks I got from my Secret Santa. And they feel a bit sheer, actually. They feel more like ladies' tights. Not that I put ladies' tights on much, but they're quite different feeling to the cotton ones, aren't they, Daisy? So, all my plans are... I did have plans... Oh, why am I wet there? Oh, she's been licking and she's dribbled on me. Well, at least it's your spit. It's not your wee-wee, is it? So, I'm going to have some lunch. I normally have it early because I start work early and I'm home, so I normally would start thinking about lunch about 11. So I'm going to have some lunch. I'm going to put on something on the TV that I want to watch. But I'm not going to watch. Hang on a minute. Let me get it. I got a couple of DVDs and some CDs for Christmas from my mum. This was one. You might not be aware of this if you live outside the UK. It's a Scottish comedy called Two Doors Down. This is series 3. They did a New Year special a few years back. This cast, mostly this cast, it's slightly changed, which was fantastic. And then they started a series. So I always preferred the set of the New Year. They had a bigger house in the New Year episode. But anyway, it's continued as a series, and it's set in the suburbs somewhere in Scotland. I'm not sure exactly where. And I love Scottish comedy. I love Scottish comedy. In fact, they were showing Sunshine on Leith, if you've ever seen that, the sort of musical. It's a bit like a Scottish Mamma Mia. And I didn't see it all, but it reminded me how lovely Edinburgh is. And I'm thinking I must go to Edinburgh next year, even for a long weekend or longer. It's just always so cold there whenever I've been. Anyway, so I might watch a bit of that. But I also got this Mamma Mia for my mum, who we saw. I saw this in York with my mum because she liked the original. But when I heard about this sequel coming out, I thought, oh no. In fact, when the first one came out, I did see it at the live show in London a few years back. Mark got me that, my partner got me that as a Christmas present, an early Christmas, and it was fantastic. I thought, oh, brilliant, what a thing to do for me, lovely of him. But I enjoyed that, and then I sort of didn't see the point of the film. We watched that in place called Ambleside in the Lake District. There's a cinema with an Italian restaurant attached, so you can get a ticket. You can get a ticket to see a show and then go on and have a meal after. It's fantastic. So we saw Mamma Mia, and the first sort of 10-15 minutes I was watching the original. I thought I didn't really get it, and then something clicked in my head, and then I really enjoyed it. And of course, it's been on television every other day. It seems to be. It's repeated constantly. And then when I heard about the sequel, I thought, oh, God. And they got Cher to do something. I thought, oh, dear. And I knew that the character played by Meryl Streep wasn't in it much. And I heard that she had died in the thing. And she makes a cameo as a ghost or something. And I thought, oh, no. And I saw clips. Oh, I'm not going to enjoy this. But anyway, so we went. I thought, well, I'll see it anyway, because I'd like to see it on the big screen. And, from the opening song, which was When I Kissed the Teacher, I was I'm getting dewy-eyed now, because I absolutely loved it. And I was so surprised how much I really enjoyed it. I loved it. And I'm just bringing back memories for me, so I'll be watching that at some point. Hopefully, Mark will watch it with me. So I'm not going to watch that now, because I'm going to fall asleep. I always start up watching things and I end up falling asleep, especially after work. But my mum loved it as well, which, I thought, oh, well, is my mum going to like it? But as soon as it had finished, the credits were rolling, we looked at each other, and my mum says she was the same as me. She was like, oh, I loved that. That was better than the first one. And she was, beaming, and I was the same. And Mark picked us up. He didn't come, you see. I said, oh, you should have come. It was fantastic. We were raving about this thing. I know some of you probably don't like it or like ABBA, but it was fantastic. And now it's going to be so precious to watch it. Every time I watch this, I will think of my mum, and there'll be a time, obviously, when my mum won't be here anymore. But I will always, I'm getting teary. I'll always remember going to see this with my mum. As some other films I saw with my mum that I'll remember, like the film Calendar Girls and Love Actually. Again, we saw those in the same cinema in York, and my mum was there both times. I think my partner was there as well. So when I've got an association like that, it makes it even more special. So I absolutely loved this. I loved this film. And I know it's silly nonsense, and I mean there'll be cynics saying, oh, blah, you know, but I don't care. I loved it. I loved it. And as I say, and sharing that experience with my mum, who also loved it, absolutely fantastic. So, but I'll save that and not watch that when I'm too tired, because I do often fall asleep at the cinema. I certainly didn't fall asleep when this was playing, but there's certain films I do remember distinctly falling asleep. Years ago, I saw When Harry Met Sally with my eldest brother, and I certainly fell asleep during that for quite a long time, actually. I didn't fall asleep during that one. So I think I'm going to have some lunch. I might put some of this Two Doors Down on. Or there's something I might want to watch on catch up, actually, that was on over Christmas. So I might see that. And then I've got some unboxing videos I think I could do with making. It's quite breezy. I don't know if you can hear it. It's quite windy today. It's very, very mild for December, so not needing the heating on. So anyway, so that was my Christmas, and I'm just looking forward now to... I don't know, yeah, I'm always trying to improve things. I suppose that's the point of life, isn't it? I suppose. You've always got to sort of... You've always got to have goals. If you don't have goals, they can be really small goals or they can be massive goals. But to reach a big goal, you normally have to complete smaller goals. And just the fact you complete goals is one reason for living, I think. Perhaps. And it's... I used to do a lot of list writing. I don't do it so much now, but the sense of satisfaction you get from putting a little tick next to something on your to-do list, it can be something very trivial and small, but if you've done it, you think, yeah, I've done that. I've done what I wanted to achieve today. So, you know, that's the thing. I'm always trying to improve things, not just physical things in my life, but emotional things, spiritual things. I'm always trying to be a better person. I don't always succeed, but at my core, I do believe I just try. I know I sound like a right old... I don't know what I sound like. I'm listening to myself now thinking, oh, you... Coming across, I don't know how I come across to people, to be honest. But anyway, that's it. I've gone on for far too long, as usual. But as I say, after I've had a bit of lunch and watched probably some of this or something else, I'm going to make 1 or 2 unboxing videos for my channel, because they're the things I got for Christmas. One of the vacuums I got for Christmas, I don't know who bought it for me yet. I'm trying to find out. I'd like to know before I open it so I can thank them. But they might want to remain anonymous. You'll see. So it's always the same. I could just chat to you for ages. But things, I'm sure if you're a certain age, you'll know what I'm talking about. That the media and everything, it's all about... You see the same thing every year on TV, don't you? And it's all about the build-up to Christmas. Spend, spend, spend. You've got to have this, you've got to have that. And then when Christmas is over, it's all about keep fit, lose weight, book your holidays. I've been enjoying... I mean, I prefer them to the actual programmes they show now, but I've been watching... And there's plenty of channels on YouTube that do this. Probably American channels as well as British, but I've been watching a channel, there's a few, but there's one I watch mainly, and he uploads a lot of TV commercials, and he tends to upload them at the time they would be shown, but years ago. So for example, yesterday I watched loads of commercials. I think it's from 1987 that were shown on Boxing Day, between a James Bond movie. They always show Bond movies at Christmas, they used to do, certainly in the UK. So the ad breaks for Octopussy, I was watching just the ad breaks that he'd kept. You know, he cuts when the film starts, that's cut, and then the ad. And just sitting there in the nostalgia, watching these old TV commercials, and you think, well, the style of commercial may have changed. They may be a bit more sophisticated now. and they might use a bit more psychological methods to get you to part with your money. But it was the same themes, you know. There was lots of adverts for sales, lots of adverts for holidays, lots of adverts for improving your home or keeping fit, losing weight, and it's just the same. And I suppose that's comforting in a way. Things do change, but things stay the same as well, I suppose. Well, I've enjoyed my chat. I hope you've enjoyed listening to my waffling on, and I hope you've had whatever you've done at Christmas. I hope you've had a nice time, whether it's just completely ignoring the whole celebration, whatever. Obviously, it's hardly anything to do with religion anymore. It is sad that you say it's a new thing. It's all about consumerism, but it isn't new. They were talking about this. I was watching a Good Life episode from 1977, I think it was, and they were saying how commercial Christmas has got. Back in the 70s they were saying that, but it is worse now. But Christmas is what you want it to be. It can be a religious thing. It can just be about stuffing your face and buying loads of stuff. It can just be about visiting relatives and being with family. Whatever you want it to be, I suppose. If you're lucky enough to live in a country where you more or less have what you want, and we are lucky. If you're watching this, you're lucky because you've got a device to watch YouTube on. So that makes you lucky. We should all count our blessings, really. Be more grateful. Even though we might want more and better, we might see someone with more than we've got. We still, most of the people who are watching this have an abundance of stuff that people can only dream of in some countries. I'm so blessed. I've got a roof over my head. I've always had a roof over my head. I've always had clothes to wear. I've always had a full belly. I've always been loved. I'm very, very lucky. So even if you get one or two of those things, you're lucky. But I think the most important thing is to be loved. And the second most, you do need food, obviously, and you do need love, food and shelter. And anything else is a bonus, I think. So, on that note, I will say goodbye this year. Have a happy new year. Be good, be safe, enjoy yourself. And I'll see you in 2019. Bye for now.